Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm Ashley Gamble, got my little brother Trey Gamble, and we've got one half of the legendary tag team of the Rock and Roll Express, the one and only Ricky Morton.
All right, Ashley, Trey, thank you guys for having me on your show tonight.
Ricky, how are you?
I already done started out. I'm glad we wasn't live on the air a while ago to listen to that bullshit we were talking about. All right.
Well, Ricky, our podcast, Trey and I grew up on, I told you last night, we grew up on Memphis wrestling and the territory system.
The best wrestling ever.
And man, we grew up on, we can remember when you and Robert got together to form the Rock and Roll Express. And man, we just wanted to try to catch up with you tonight, talk a little territory wrestling. How did you and Robert end up together as the Rock and Roll Express?
Well, I was wrestling in Texas, and I've got to tell you a story before we can get to that. Let it up. Well, Jerry Lawler put us together,
okay? Right?
And then but Robert, his brother wrestled, Ricky, and my dad was a wrestler. And I was, my dad told me, guys, you got to understand this. It's being in the wrestling world, and I concentrate and I try to tell people about our business, and half of them think they know everything, and I promise you they don't know shit about our business and how it got together. But my dad, I used to ride with my dad. And territories, it was owned by the owner or the booker. Do you got what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
My dad told me, he said, listen to me, you're in Memphis, you're never going to be main event. He said, but you understand me, every territory you go to is got to have a semi-main event. And that's tag team wrestling. So my daddy, and I went through a lot of tag team partners before I got to Robert. And me and Robert just clicked. And the reason why, he's with his brother for those years. And how old are you guys back then? When I put it, we all in school or?
Oh, yeah. I was born in 75. He was born in 74.
Okay, so y'all was 10 or 11 years old. I mean, no, y'all was about 6 or 7, weren't you?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
8, around that area. Now Clarksdale, I have one of the greatest stories in the world, but y'all probably wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
I'll lay it on us.
Okay, now they used to have a guy that worked for Memphis Wrestling named Mr. Coffee.
Short, dark guy.
Yeah, Mr. Coffee that worked in the back.
Yes, sir.
Now, he used to do we go to Clarksdale, Mr. Coffee was out of Memphis. And him and Miss Coffee would come down here. And all the guys used to rib our buddy all the time back then anyway. So Jerry Calhoun and Mr. Coffee's got it going on. Mr. Coffee's right on that stage and out there in Clarksdale. And he's announcing. And everybody's looking. Back then, we used to sell that place out. It'd be packed, dude.
I know.
We were there a lot. Sir.
Look here. Now, I'm watching. I'm about to, try to go to bed. And all of a sudden, I see a hand come over top of Jerry it's Mr. Coffee's head between the curtains. And it's Jerry Calhoun. But Jerry Calhoun reaches down and picks Mr. Coffee's toupee up. Okay? And then he drops it right back on his head. Right? It's sideways. And Mr. Coffee didn't sell it. He didn't phase him one bit.
He just kept going.
Okay, he kept going. Now, later on in the show, we see Jerry Calhoun, what an idiot, back on the stage, and he's dressing right there on the stage, right with the curtain splits. And he's standing there butt naked with his butt to the crowd in his bag. And he's going through his bag, and Mr. Coffee opened them curtains up, right? Hey, listen, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, boys. I'm telling you, it got to me. And Jerry Calhoun, you can see him going through his bag, and all of a sudden he just stops. And, he raises up real slow, and boom, he takes off running that way. Greatest. Had to be there to understand it. You might have been there. I don't know.
May have been there.
We every time Memphis came to Clarksdale, me and Ashley and our older brother, Brett, who's older than us, our dad made sure, because every Saturday morning Memphis, and we would stay up on Monday nights. Only night we were allowed to stay up was to hear Big Jack eat and give the results from the Coliseum.
Oh, really? Was your dad still alive?
Yes, sir. It'd be 79.
And y'all enjoy it. Enjoyed. You know, my dad was a referee out of Memphis, and
okay,
you know, and it's like my son Terry, huh?
Your dad was Frank?
No, my dad was a referee, Paul Morton.
Paul Morton.
Oh,
okay.
referee. Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley was thinking about Frank Morrell, probably.
No, not Frank Morrell. Frank Morrell was too pretty. No, I'm just kidding.
He looked like Frankenstein.
Well, I'm telling you, you know what? He had more gimmicks than anybody I ever seen, dude. I've been on wrestling shows with him where you wrestle 3 times. It's 3 different gimmicks. But
oh Lord,
no. But I liked it though. But getting back to where we were at, you know, we were in Memphis, and a lot of people don't know this either. But you know, Jerry Lawler owned part of Memphis, and Jerry Jarrett did. And Jerry Jarrett, the Fabulous Ones, was Jerry Jarrett's team, and you just got to understand the boys. The Fabulous Ones didn't like Jerry Lawler, hard to do business with, or fighting, and I think Lawler was going to go opposition in Memphis, and that's the reason I was wrestling in San Antonio, Texas, with the Blanchards. Myself and Ken Lucas were teamed up.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. Here,
so you're fine, Rick.
But we came back to Jerry asked us to come back to Memphis, but I was ready to, you know, man, because, buddy, what an education I got with Ken Lucas about tag team wrestling. Holy shit, buddy. He taught me what the power of selling is, the power of giving that hot tag to that guy for that, telling that story to build up for that hot tag. God, I learned from the best. But you got to understand that when we left Memphis and went to Louisiana, you know, we still wrestled down there by Clarksdale. What was it, Greenville?
Right.
Was it Greenville or not?
Greenville.
Ever come to those shows?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Greenville. Any of them?
Yeah, I did. Greenville, Greenwood.
That's when me and Robert got just like the Fabulous Ones was, but they were in Memphis, and we blew that place apart. But it was something new, and in territories, you know, Memphis wrestling was the greatest. And they brought Bill Dundee in. Bill Watts did, because Bill was retiring, and they brought Bill Dundee in the book, but Bill couldn't wrestle. Do you hear what I'm saying? That way he couldn't push himself.
Right.
And that's the way that went. And man, I got to turn this heater down here a little bit. I told Carrie I was cold. Look here, man, I'm breaking a sweat. And all right, sorry guys.
No, you're fine.
And that's you know, that's the way all that happened. First, I never forget our first day. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was our first appearance. You know, we have a new tag team coming in tomorrow. Back and forth, and we went over to the flea market and bought some rock and roll stuff and come out, but we didn't have no name. And I never forget. We're trying to find a name for us. And Jimmy Hart's back there. We says, "Oh, we got Ricky Robert R&R Rolls Royce Rock and Roll Express." He said, "Jerry, Rock and Roll Express." Lawler goes, "That's the worst name I ever heard in my life."
Oh,
but,
wow.
Hey, but we need something. Let's go with it.
How'd that turn out for you, 2-time Hall of Famer?
Well, buddy, I'm telling you. No, it was great. But Lawler sees me, said, "I wished I would have patented that name." I said, "Hell, you didn't think of it. Jimmy Hart did. You just put us together." Hey, has anybody ever told you, Ashley, you look a little like Arn Anderson?
I have never heard that.
I see it now.
What's that?
Now I see it, even though he's my brother. I actually see it now.
When he was young, I see
Young Arn.
Yeah, he wore glasses and everything too, man.
Well, let me ask you a question, Ricky, if you don't mind, sir.
Sure, buddy. I'm waiting on it.
To me, growing up, a kid born in 75, a Memphis guy all the way till the territories disappeared, to see you and Robert, to watch you when you were struggling in the ring, the pain on your face, I wanted to reach through my TV and say, "Let me pull you to Robert, man. You were the best at that."
Okay, that's called selling.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I pride myself in doing that. See, back then it was territory days, and we didn't have all this shit you got now. You got wrestling on 500 channels, and you got everything. You have territories, and when you was in territory, but that's only TV you see in that wrestling.
Yes, sir.
And if I could, and Jerry Jarrett told me this. He said, Ricky, you're the perfect guy to be the seller. He said, if you can get them people behind you and make them believe in everything you do, said you're going to be one of the greatest. Yeah. And that's what I strided myself on doing. When I got in that ring, especially with Arn and Ole, if I can make them people on that front row believe and sell the way what he's doing to me.
Yes, sir.
And let the heel let me sell it instead of just trying to do something else to me. See how great it was, and you told that picture. To me, I think it's something that's missing in our business today.
Oh, absolutely.
I know next Tuesday, I think, yes, I'm going to be on Conrad Thomas's podcast.
Okay. Oh, the Pod King.
But we're doing Starrcade 86.
Oh.
And I am going to be with them over Mama. It's a lot of people going to be on there, but they're all going to do their match. And this is the match. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I'm going to say this on that podcast too. Out of all the, listen, we broke attendant records with the Midnight Express.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
We had the greatest tag team feud of all times.
Yes, sir.
I had some of the greatest matches ever, but you got to understand it wasn't just me, it was the heels too. They were some of the greatest workers to ever step in the ring. But that night in Starrcade, the way Dusty and all of us told that story, we went through the Midnight Express getting ready for the Andersons. I don't know that's how it worked, but it didn't kill them off because they were still with another tag team. You see, that's how you did things back in our day. You just didn't beat them right there in the middle, but you got yourself going. And I even heard Steve Austin a couple of years back. I was listening to him talking on something, and he come out and said, Steve, tell us the best match you ever been in. Or he says, I'll tell you the best match I ever seen. And he said it was Starrcade 86, the Rock and Roll Express against Ole and Arn Anderson. And it was. Go back and watch it, guys. I mean, I sold in that match
tonight.
And we was in a cage, I think. And I'm going to have to go back and really go over it for you before I go on this podcast. But at that time, that was our WrestleMania then. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And, that was before. And guys, you stop to think about this. Memphis, the territory, it's sold out. You remember, if you did did you ever go to Memphis when you was a kid?
Yes, sir. Liberty Land.
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, yeah, buddy. Not once, but every Monday night, that gun was sold out, bro. But see, that was the Memphis side. We was a territory.
Yes, sir.
See, we were in Louisville on Tuesday, Evansville, Indiana on Wednesday. Once a month on Thursday, we were in Lexington, Kentucky. And then if you wasn't there, you were at a spot show somewhere. The Tupelo, Mississippi on Friday. Memphis TV Saturday morning. Dude, we used to roll into Memphis that Friday night after Tupelo. Looked like Woodstock out there at the hotel, buddy.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I can't even imagine, bud. Oh. Yeah, you can't even imagine. I was young one time, bro.
Or the stories that Jim Cornette tells. If even half of them are true, you guys are legends.
I must protect the innocent, I guess. And hey, buddy, let me tell you, we were rock stars. Honestly,
you were to us,
especially when we hit the road in North Carolina.
Oh man,
you could look here. When I first went there, buddy, we were, we did that thing, won the world title on TV. Y'all didn't see it for like a week later, and me and Robert won our first night in, and this is so cool because do you guys understand what kayfabe is?
We do.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so everything was kayfabe back then.
Right.
Nobody knew shit. Nobody even knew the finish to your match. Nobody knew you was going, and you never asked nobody,
And you guys were separated, good guys and bad guys.
Hell yeah, we were.
Sides of the building.
But on the TV that we went in there they had the list on the wall. Okay. And then on the second TV show, Robert and I were wrestling, the Russians. And then they had all the matches up under it. But me and Robert went the whole TV time. And everybody was in the back going, what the hell? They need to go home. You know what I'm saying? I remember Baby Dodd used to tell me, she was watching this. God, our segment's coming up, man. But we did the whole hour on TV.
Oh, man.
You see how kayfabe it was?
Y'all used the whole hour.
Yeah, and nobody knew we were winning the world titles either. Nobody knew. And
Only y'all knew it.
Huh?
Only y'all knew it.
And that was like 10 minutes before we went to the ring.
Wow.
That's the way we did things back then.
Did y'all spot call?
Well, no, buddy. Some of the best workers in the world, guys. You don't have to do that. Everything you see done, 9 out of 10 times when you're in the buildings, we're all separated.
Yes, sir.
When you step through the ropes at the ring, because you only had probably one referee. Tommy Young will referee it. When you step through the ropes, Tommy Young, he'll look at me and do this or boom. He'll give me some kind of iggy. That's wrestling talk about who's going over. And it wasn't a finish. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We created it in the ring. But now at Greensboro is a little different. You understand me? But we didn't do no high spots. I never called a high spot in my life. You know what? And that's the reason I've been, buddy, I'm 68 years old.
Yes.
I still wrestle all over the daggum United States.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is I still entertain these people.
You didn't abuse your body with all those those gymnastic moves, right?
You called it right, Mickey Mouse high spot.
Buddy, I've been hurt more time. God Almighty. But see, back then when you were hurt, you still had to wrestle. You didn't get paid if you didn't. Right. You wouldn't know. Sympathy was tweed shit and syphilis in the dictionary. That was all that was about, buddy. But to go back and watch this, watch the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
What people don't understand. Watch the crowd when I'm selling. These people are losing their minds. And
I lost my mind through the television for you.
Yes, buddy. I was, and that was it. But what we were saying now, when we went in to North Carolina and Robert and I won the belts, we was instantly. I mean, when I come back 2 weeks later to start the territory, like the high schools, they had big old rocks in front of the building, with the high school people spray paint Rock and Roll Express on it. I mean, just everywhere, and still do have some of them. Myrtle Beach, there's still a building with Rock and Roll Express on the side of it down there. I mean, it's to understand. And then I bought a house right outside of Charlotte. And I bought it and I woke up the next morning and I had about 1,000 people in my front yard. And I'm serious. That's when they had to come out. Well, but we were rock stars.
Right.
Especially in Charlotte. Me and my wife, I'd put a hat on, put my hair up, and I couldn't walk 3 feet in the mall. They know it's me.
Right.
Hey, but understand me, wouldn't the thing? I mean, hell, the TV station will be there in 5 minutes. Right. They're out there trying to follow you around the mall, talking to you. Greatest thing in the world, and this business is the greatest business. I have a son that wrestles too. That's really bad. Kerry, he's going to be a hell of a wrestler. Your brother, I'm sitting here looking at over here in the corner, Ashley. Bro, he looked like Brock Anderson sitting over here. Looked off.
I got gray, Ricky. I got gray, sir.
Well, you got that Robert Gibson hair.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
I'm just kidding with you guys.
Hey, I'm 49. I'm trying to catch up to him. But every time I get in here, he
actually, because you look like, I swear you look like Brock Lesnar. I mean Brock Anderson, not Lesnar. But it's cool though. Our business is the greatest business in the world, and I'm hoping that my son, he does a lot with NWA. He's got a good spot there, but you see, he's only 23.
Okay.
He needs to work on. He's working on his body right now. But you go to WWE when they want you.
Mm-hmm.
go there just to go there.
Right.
Get lost in the shuffle. They know who you are. They know you're out there wrestling and they're watching. And then one day that right spot will open up, and that's when you go. It's not just go in because and it's harder. It was hard for me at first, buddy, being a second generation wrestler. Everybody thinks, "Oh, your daddy didn't know. My daddy didn't do shit."
Mm-hmm.
Just talk to me to make me understand the business and understand it a lot better. Just think, if I could go, and I wish I could, to one of these big companies and put some tag teams together like we had in the 80s. Do you understand me? To teach. See, nowadays, everybody is about me. There's no tag team work. They come in and they do their spots, and then the heel does their spots, and then he tags his partner and he does his spots, and then the other heel does their spots, and that's your match.
Right.
Why do you think they don't focus on tag team wrestling as much nowadays?
Different time, brother, different place. Yeah. They like that hard hitting, those big bumps. It's and it's a wonder if somebody hadn't got killed. And well, they did. Owen Hart did, but I mean, nowadays, and if you notice, if you go to any of their shows, I do. Everybody's on crutches, laying in the floor in ice packs, heat bombs on them, chiropractors everywhere. But that's the day's a different day, different story.
Well, let me ask you this, Ricky. Why is wrestling so hot right now? It seems like the last couple of years, wrestling has just taken off and gone to a different level. Attendance seems to be up even at a lot of indie matches these days.
Well, the independent's really on fire.
It is.
And let me really tell this to you. I was going to say this earlier, and if I'm sorry, I have a little touch of CTE. My wife calls it CRS.
Can't remember S.
I've been accused of that by my wife.
So it's I'm selling on the independent circuit, but see what I do is I entertain these folks when I come out here. I can still make them laugh. I can make them cry. I can make them madder than hell, and by the heels, and if they just listen to me, and that's the reason I still do good. I go to these small towns. I'm on the show. The people know that they're going to get their money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the independents, what I don't like is when I go there, I tell them I'm not trying to be. I want to go on early because the first match you're shooting Hugo out of a cannon, and he's going to kick out on one. You see what I'm saying? They do all this shit, suplex off the top rope on chairs and blah blah blah. Let me go out, let me work my little head rock routine and do my stuff and make these people laugh, but not of them don't understand it. You understand me. I'm sitting there in the back, and by halfway through, and especially if I'm at the table signing autographs and stuff, well, people just come to see me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They get their picture and they leave. But it's hot now. But don't get me wrong, Independence is hot. I don't know what it is. They have wrestling in around y'all's area.
They do. As a matter of fact, on my podcast here, about twice a month, I have an independent wrestler from Battle Zone Championship Wrestling down in South Mississippi. Pharaoh of Funk comes on, and he just kind of gives a Battle Zone update. And we push the Battle Zone product as much as we can. Try to help those guys get them exposure that they otherwise wouldn't get.
That's Southern Mississippi.
Well, that's about Central Mississippi, Simpson County.
Yes. I used to do a show for a couple of guys around Jackson.
Okay.
I don't know whatever happened to them. We did good business too. I just, sometimes this business can make you or break your ass in a heartbeat.
Right.
But our business is in stages. But I'll believe this, and that's why with my son Kerry, I teach him old school and new school, old school and new school. Now I have a hell of a wrestling school. It's called SOM. It means 505. It's live on YouTube every Sunday at 5:05, but it's 4:05 your time.
Right.
Yeah, just watch it. I mean, that's boys at my school, and they do pretty damn good. I mean, it's You know what I do to seminars and stuff and try to explain and talk to these people to make them understand the entertainment part of this business, because they go out and wrestle. A lot of these guys don't even understand you have a crowd out there. Mm-hmm. They're not working for them. They're not doing nothing. You know, they come out and start chopping to get that woo, you know, right. And that's bullshit. You know, I hate somebody to chop me. I hate that shit. I don't know if you can go back and watch some of those matches with me and Brian Pillman in WCW. He'd chop me and I'd slap piss out of him. You know, bam, bam. And he'd look at me, God, that hurt. I said, no shit. Yeah, you know.
Don't chop.
Yeah, I slapped the shit out of him too, buddy. And they keep doing that.
Hey, Mr. Morton, Ricky, whatever you want me to call you, I'll call you whatever. So you're a god to me.
Yeah, you know, well, my wife calls me all that too. So.
But I want to know, what was it like for you to turn heel with the York Foundation?
No, okay. Now, see this,
because that's not you that I loved.
No. This is a great question, and you, a lot of people don't understand. See, I never had a contract.
Yes, sir.
My biggest year in the business, and that was for only 1 year, was $125,000 for Jimmy Crockett. You know, I wasn't educated enough. No, it's my own fault. But see, we went there and we started, and I always fought with the guys. And I'm sorry, but I have CTE. Repeat that again for me.
The York Foundation, when you turned heel, what was it like for you to have to be heel after being babyface for so long?
Guys, I'm going to tell you a great story here right now. Delete it. Don't let me forget it. If I wander off, come back about the York Foundation. I'm just going to tell you the story. I don't mind telling. If people don't like it and nobody else don't like it, I don't give a shit. I was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I come in, and Robert's just real quiet as hell over in the corner. And Robert's never like this. So the boys get up and walk out, and I walk over to Robert. And I went, what's wrong with you, Robert? He goes, I hurt my knee last night. And I said, I don't think you even got in the fucking ring last night, buddy. I did that. I says, how'd you get hurt? And his wife ran over him. His wife at the time ran over him in a car. No shit. There's a leg. He pulled his pants down. His leg was black. He could hardly, that's why he wasn't moving. So I told Robert, I said, listen to me, bud. I'm going to walk around here because back then, you know, it's sex, drugs, and the Rock and Roll Express. But I went and found some Lord tabs. And I said, you take 2 of these. When they play our music, I'm going to shoot off this curtain and I'm going to go all the way around this building. And this is for WCW. I said, all you got to do is get on the side of the ring. And and I said, I will keep the people till I see you on the side of the ring. And I'm messing with Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. They were partners then. Teddy Long was our manager.
Doom?
Were
they Doom back then?
Doom, yeah.
Okay.
They were the world champions, and we was having a world title match. And I told Robert, I says, when I tag you, face down, you hurt. Now, you see, that was WCW. That's a big corporate business. You get hurt in the ring. Mm-hmm. Hell, I did the same damn thing. But when Robert went down, and see, this is mind over matter. I think I was in there with Butch. I said, damn, Butch, did you hear his knee pop? Everybody heard his knee pop. Boom. And I told him, I said, deuce, and beat me, get the match over, right? Well, they brought Robert back. See, they thought he got hurt in the ring. They pay, he made a lot of money, but they sent him to a University of Alabama to that doctor down there in Tuscaloosa that worked on all them football players.
Andrews.
Fixed his leg and paid him a good amount of money, buddy, for a year. But see, I had no job. You see what I'm talking about? I have no job. I'm just Ricky Morton.
That shocks me.
I got to have a job.
Yes, sir.
Now, my job was either I can turn heel or not, or be a job boy. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So I decided to turn heel. That was all. That's the only reason it was for me to have the job.
Right.
You see, and when Robert came back, I wrestled him at the Capitol something.
You wrestled Robert?
I was in New York Foundation. You know, it was the one they used to have in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
I wrestled. I had Alexander York, which is Terry Reynolds, was my manager. Wrestled Robert, and I beat him, and me and him left the next day and went to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. See? Go back and do your research and watch, and you'll see all that. With me telling you, you can see it form.
I want to go back and watch.
Yeah, go back and watch it. You see all this form. All this goes together.
Because when you came out as heel, it broke my heart as a young Rock and Roll Express Ricky Morton fan. That I wanted to pull for you, and then I was like, why would he do this to me?
Yeah. Well, see, that was at least I told my story good.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's all that mattered. And you know, they didn't have no plans for us and wasn't going to, you know. And then see, guys, like Smoky Mountain Wrestling was the last territory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was really, really bad ass. You know,
it was hot.
Please don't take this as a knock or to be for this company. I just did a couple appearances for AEW,
mm-hmm.
and it was great. And but their stuff is so big, you know, when they come in, you know, but it's like a rock concert doubled. You hear me, with all this shit they have, and see it, and only like the buildings only use half of them. You see, because it's so big, especially in Knoxville. See, in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, we didn't, and we still sold those buildings completely out.
Yeah, y'all were packed.
Huh?
Y'all were packed.
Buddy, I mean, I'm talking about in Knoxville, and I did the one in Charlotte, which they had it cut in half. The other side was full. But see, they're the only company that I agreed to go back to Charlotte to wrestle in the Bojangles Arena, because when we was at NWA, I never wrestled in that building when it wasn't sold out. Okay, I'm talking, bro, 15,000 people. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And that was every 2 weeks. It was so complete. Greensboro, and me couldn't even believe what was going on. And when they called and asked me if I would come I said, yes, I will for y'all, because I told them I'd never been in that building when it wasn't sold out. And I had promoters before call me, want me to come. I told them no. I just didn't want to, you know. And hey, it was great. I took a lot of the wrestlers in the back. We're in the back. The old dressing rooms were there. The babyface one, and the heels was on the other side. But I showed them where Dusty dressed, where he'd do this stuff. And nobody was allowed in that dressing room unless you was a wrestler on the show. Now, if you was in the territory and a wrestler and you come by the show, you didn't go in the dressing room. You see, that's the way it was with kayfabe. Well, they kayfabe. Nobody knew shit. Nobody knew shit. So that's what I was saying. That's the reason I turned heel, bud. You know, I had to.
I appreciate you explaining that, because, like I said, as a Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton reaching through the TV screen, wanting to grab you and pull you to Robert, and then you turn heel. I was like, why?
Yeah. Well, you was a kid then too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was.
That's just the way it is. You know,
that's how much you made me feel for you.
Thank you. What's up, Ashley? What are you going to ask me?
Let me stroke your ego and ask you a question real quick. What is it like for Ricky Morton to sit back and absorb all these accolades from millions of fans and know that the Rock and Roll Express is either 1, 2, or 3 of the greatest tag teams of all times, depending on who you ask?
Well, that's good. I mean, I got you. You know, you have a whole different generation now, and they don't understand back in our days, especially, listen to me, guys, both of y'all.
Yes, sir.
I was in the territory. Every wrestler that was there depended on me to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all looking at me?
Yep.
We got paid by how many asses were in the seats, but and what the houses were. But I always remember this in any business: the promoter gets the first count.
That's right.
Do you understand?
Yep.
Yes,
And it
sir.
was hard. Now, when people depend on you like that, you see, I have to work 3 times as hard.
Yeah.
And I did.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in me, and to make, it was there. I mean, it got, and I was some of the luckiest shit in the world too. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but Terry Allen, Magnum TA,
Yes,
he was fixing to do a big angle. They can put the world belt on him, but he had a car wreck and broke his neck. Well, see, that whole year angle is gone. Do you see? It's washed away, and just for some reason, Flair picked me to wrestle him. Do you understand me? And I don't know y'all's opinion about Ric Flair, but I do.
Ashley loves him.
I'm in this wrestling business, okay? Now, he's not, I'm going to tell you, I mean, the greatest worker, I think, ever in this business is Jerry Lawler. And y'all might agree with that. But Ric Flair was the greatest world champion. And the reason I'm saying this is because you got to understand, when you paid to see Ric Flair, you got your money's worth. And I'm not bullshitting you. When I did my angle with him, we went, the first week, we did 9-hour time limits. The first week. That's 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. Do you hear me? Now, we, and then, after we did those, me and him did a couple of 1.5-hour time limits. But during the time, it was territory days. Ric Flair is still the world champion. So he has to go out to other territories and do another hour time every night. Now, some people say, well, he repeated this up a little bit. I said, you would too if you was him, bro.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I said, this son of a gun did that. And dude, what an education that I got in this business wrestling him. Do you hear me? How to keep those people. I was, last year I was at the gathering in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I fixed to go to the ring. You know a guy named George South?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, buddy. He's bad to the bone. I was coming around the corner, fixing to go to the ring, and they're playing my music. And when I turned the corner, Jerry Lynn is standing there. He works for AEW.
Right.
Yeah.
When I stopped, I said, Jerry, what's going on, man? What are you doing? He said, well, I come here to watch a couple of guys wrestle tonight. They was looking at them. AEW was. I said, that's great. I says, I want you to come out and time my match for how long it takes me to lock up with George South. Just to lock up. Do you hear me? So me and George went out and had a match with him. Went like 30 minutes. I mean, and from the time I come out that curtain, it's rock and roll, and George is on that microphone, these people back and forth. And then our match was over. And I come back through the curtain, and Jerry Lynn's eyes are this big, and he's standing right in front of me. He goes, damn, y'all didn't even lock up for 14 minutes and 45 seconds. He said, and these people are going crazy.
They ate it up.
Now, see what they're missing. And the angles.
Yeah.
I love to shoot a couple of good tag team angles where they'll let me run with it to get heat on the heels, instead of, coming in and his baby face does his spots, this heel does this spots, this baby face does this spot, and this heel does this spots, and the finish don't mean shit. And then you see, and I hate this too. You watch wrestling sometimes. I call it the next spot face. You hear me? They're thinking.
Yeah.
Motherfucker done hit, excuse my language. That's just the way.
No, you're fine.
A guy done hit him in the head with a 2x4, and he's thinking about the next spot. He ain't even settling to 2x4.
You can see it in his face, exactly.
Yeah.
No sell, nothing.
And then when they mess up, and I always tell guys this, man, when you mess a spot up, don't go back and repeat it.
Right.
Because we got to do it, but they do every time. And then if they fuck the spot up, everybody's in the ring. That's why the people are hollering, "You fucked up."
Right.
Because they already let them know. And if they didn't do it, the crowd, they wouldn't know what they did. They didn't know they messed up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
right.
Can I ask you, can we play a game real quick?
What?
Play a game. Word association.
Word association.
I'm going to give you a name. You tell me first word that comes to your mind.
If I know them. Look at you got to remember I got CTE, bro.
Oh, you're going to know him. Jerry Lawler.
Best worker in the business.
Bill Watts.
He made me rich, so what the hell? I don't know.
Lance Russell.
Best commentator in the world.
Jim Cornette.
A crazy son of a bitch.
Dr. Tom Pritchard.
Good worker. Great worker.
Brickhouse Brown.
Great worker. I love Brickhouse. He was my friend, son. Okay. Me and him did some crazy shit together. Go ahead.
And the last one I'm going to give you is from NWA, Billy Corgan.
Oh, Billy Corgan. He's a rock star, bud. That's all I can tell you. He's a rock star. I told him before, I said, Billy, you're everything that everybody ever wanted to be. You're a fucking rock star. What are you here to wrestle him for? But he loves.
He doesn't need it.
He loves the business. It's like everybody else does.
Have you ever taken a punch from Jerry Lawler?
Buddy, I worked Jerry Lawler 1,000,000 times.
All right, so his punch not the best punch in the business?
I'm telling you, he's one of the best. He's the best work. He's the best story. I have seen his son of a gun wrestle little people.
Mm-hmm.
Call them little people now. Don't get me wrong. Look here and have a right. Do you hear me?
Right.
And tear the house down. And you see, that's just what it is. And it's something that Jerry did. And I gave this advice to EC3. I don't know if you know, when he won a world title.
Yeah.
When he won the world title, I come up to him and I looked at him. I said, now listen to me, you're the world champion. You possibly could be one of the greatest at this time. I said, wrestle everybody like they're the world champion. And you'll be all needs. Somebody filmed a seminar not long ago, and he's talking to people, and he said that in that seminar. So Ricky Morton told me best advice I ever got in my life. So, gentlemen,
it only makes sense,
Yes, I got you. Hey, guys.
Look, hey, Ricky, we're not going to keep you much longer. I know you're feeling bad. One more question for you.
Okay.
2017, WWE inducts the Rock and Roll Express into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
Who called you and let you know, hey, we want to induct you guys into the Hall of Fame?
Well, to tell you the truth, I knew they was going to put us in the Hall of Fame 2 years ahead of time.
Okay.
But Robert didn't.
Okay.
They called Robert, but I already knew. You understand me?
Right.
I kept a good secret, didn't I? And that's another story I don't want to talk about. But to understand, to be in this thing, and you have WWE, WrestleManias, the biggest shows in the world. And if you go to, they call it, and they put us, look at my hair standing up on my damn arms, to walk in that room. And them call, you can't, it's not even that. They took me, my family, to Orlando at this hotel that had a water park in the back of it. But see, the hotel, it was all rented, Vince rented the whole motel. Fans wasn't there. The whole motel was for the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And to go down there and see the celebrities and the people, you can't imagine, man, who you see there. And for them to put us into the Hall of Fame, when we walked in that room, this is one of the few times I don't have my ring on. And I don't know why it was. Me and my son were working out back here earlier. To walk in that room and have Vince McMahon to tell me Now I'm telling you, Vince put my ring on my finger, and he looked at me and he says, "My Hall of Fame couldn't be real if y'all wasn't in it."
Wow.
You hear me? Yes. And that's on see where I'm getting cold chills here. I'm gonna cry here, man. Dude.
No.
The greatest time. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
You deserve it, though.
Not winning the world titles and not doing it was that moment,
right?
To figure out and you haven't been seen in 20 years on big TVs, and have them to do that, and how the boys treated us so cool, man, so great.
Yeah.
And it was that day that in my life that and not only getting, but the things they gave us, and the stuff that you don't really realize that all of it I gave to my son here to go back and to treasure stuff like that, because one day it'll be a great moment. It's the greatest feeling, guys. I mean, you just don't even understand.
No, I applaud you, sir.
Put all this hard work in, and then the business changes. And just because I wasn't in somebody else's clique, I couldn't go.
Right.
And I went out on the independent circuit because I love my business so much. To have WWE to call you, put you in the Hall of Fame. But we accomplished something.
You did.
Two-time Hall of Famer.
Yes. Oh, yes. But that accomplished completely in my life, in my wrestling business.
You're the reason I love you, man.
Thank you. That's a great compliment.
You're my favorite wrestler of all
I'm
time.
looking at your brother over here, and I think he's going to call Spine Buster on me. I don't know.
well, Ricky, I appreciate your time so much. You have been more than generous with your time, and I'm going to tell you right now, I will see you on April the 12th.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Grant, Mississippi.
I'll be there.
Just come and see me, man.
When I do this, like we had Steve Kern on last year on the podcast, and he let me know that he was going to be in Pulaski, Tennessee at the Kayfabe Cave 3 months later doing a signing. I said, I'll see you there. I drove 8 hours from my house to Pulaski to meet Steve Kern. I told him I'd be there.
See the poster on my social media. Yeah, it's they wrestle in a big old building at the fairgrounds or something, I believe. I don't know. You better make sure you look at the poster and come and see me.
I will be there to see you, and I'll remind you that, hey, I'm the guy you said looked like Arn Anderson.
Young Arn Anderson.
Oh, I sure will. I have something special for you, too.
Ricky, I appreciate you, man. Anything I can ever do for you, you give me a shout.
Trey and Ashley, thank you very much. I am the lineman for the county.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thanks, Ricky. We appreciate you, man.
Love you, buddy.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Have a good evening.
Buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Good night.
Good night.
How awesome.
Well, Trey, we are still recording.
How awesome was that, bro?
Was that?
Oh, my God. I didn't get you. And
look at him picking his nose.
Who?
You can't see him. I can see him.
Ricky? Don't put that on the podcast. Dude, you and Peter got to do Steve. I am so glad I got to do Ricky freaking Morton, brother. Oh my, how down to earth is him and Steve Kern combined together? Two of the greatest people in the world in wrestling, man.
Yeah, the fabulous ones with Steve and Stan, and then you have the Rock and Roll Express with Ricky and Robert. By far,
favorite Christmas present.
By far, two of the greatest tag teams that ever darkened the doors of all the territories.
Man, we could have gone so much. If he wasn't sick, we could have gone 3 hours. Man.
And it doesn't matter who you ask. You ask anybody, you've got the Rock and Roll Express and the Road Warriors are the only, and the Midnight Express are the three tag teams that is in everybody's top five, bar none.
Then you add the modern day tag teams, the 2000 tag teams, the late 90s, but those three, 70s and 80s, hands down, best three tag teams ever.
Yep. All right, Trey, I appreciate you jumping on with me to do to interview Ricky Morton. That was awesome.
Mate, I'm so glad I could do this.
And I'm not gonna tell you because it's gonna be a surprise, but Peter knows who we've got coming on in a few weeks. They've agreed to come on. We just got to get it narrowed down to the time frame. They are I'm not going to tell you what they're doing right now. They're otherwise occupied at the present time and don't have time to jump on because of time zones and stuff going on that they've got they're committed to right now.
So is this going to be you and Peter or all three of us?
It depends on if you're living right. We'll see how you're living when the time.
We can do it like this. It's a lot better than my cell phone where I live.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we have a new avenue now. So Trey, I appreciate it, man.
Awesome, brother. Love you, man. Love you. Thank God I was part of this. I love Ricky Morton. Love this podcast. Tell Peter I'm sending prayers to his family, man.
All right, dude. We'll holler.
See you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. And with that, we are going to wrap things up and hope you guys enjoyed that. This is our first video podcast of the Before Sports Entertainment podcast. Trying to get the bugs worked out. Believe we're on that path and more to come.